I am a divorced single dad, father of 5 kids. It can be tough raising kids today. Believe me, there are high times and low times. It comes with the territory. But in all my years of parenting, I try to give some good advice. Advice to those parents who are out there willing to listen. My name is Price Van Ray, and welcome to my show. Today we're going to be talking about feeling like you failed as a parent. But first, I want to congratulate all the new parents out there. Boy, are you in for the time of your life. This is an exciting time and a great adventure, so cherish every moment. Now on with the show. So feeling like you failed as a parent. It's something we all feel at one time or another, especially when you're a new parent. You don't know what to expect. But I always say expect the unexpected. So when you're feeling like you failed, what does that mean? Does it mean you failed to live up to your expectations or your child's expectations? In any case, we all feel this way at one time or another. And what is failing? Is failing saying, I wanted to take my kids to Disney every year. I failed at that. That's not really what we're talking about. I'm talking about your responsibilities and what your child needs and looks for in a parent. I mean, there are materialistic things that sometimes we just can't give our kids. But there's other things beyond materialistic things, like teaching your kid character, to stand up for himself or herself or themselves. You have to teach them morality. You have to teach your kids things that will help them in life. So do we really fail as a parent? As long as you can try to instill these things in your child, I say you never failed. And you should never beat yourself up over this. Because when you do that, you're just beating on yourself. How much weight can you put on your shoulders until you fall on your knees? Never put that much weight on yourself. Never put that much burden on yourself. You are doing the best you can as a parent. And you're a great parent. You have to remember that. And you're a great parent when you're going to be a parent. Always keep that in mind. Always try to stay positive and know you are going to do a great job. So in life, sure, there are times in our lives where we feel we failed at a job, failed at a relationship, failed at making other people happy, but that's life sometimes. But we're talking about being a new parent and new parent failures. Can you truly fail as a parent? I'm sure you can. But the fact that you want to be the best parent you can, every day you put yourself out there, every day you know what you want to do, what you want to give your child, what you want to instill in your child. That doesn't make you a failure. It makes you a winner. As a parent, you want to keep your child safe from harm. You want to have them in an environment that is safe, an environment that's controlled. Now, we can't always control our child's environment. It's impossible. It's a big world. As our child grows, they're going to go out into the world. They're going to be in an environment where they're going to have to decide how they're going to be. And you know how they can decide? What you put in them, what you instilled in them. They'll have friends. Hopefully they'll have great friends. But they'll have to decide what you teach your child. That's what's important. You must teach your child. And of course, as parents, we want to protect our children. We want to protect them from harm. We want to protect our children from all the dangers of the world. And I know that's a very, very hard thing to do because the world is a very, very huge place. It is enormous. But you as a parent are doing your best and you will try to do your best. That doesn't make you a failure. You haven't failed as a parent. Try to give your child a great home, great family, conversations. My parents always had food on the table. Now, when I was a kid, I thought we ate like a king, but we were very poor. But the fact is, I felt like we were rich because we always had something to eat. Now, whether or not I liked it or not, that's another story. I mean, a lot of kids don't like to eat vegetables. They try to hide it or give it to the pet. But the bottom line is my parents did their best, and I could see it. And I never once growing up felt like we were poor. Now, other people might have said it, but it never bothered me because I felt like we were rich. My parents were nurturing, especially my mom. I'll tell you about my mom. Always said, I love you. Always gave me hugs, always talked to me. You have to have a parent like that. You want to make sure your child has stability. A stable household. Now, I know sometimes it doesn't work out. Believe me, I am a forever dad. But I am, like I said in the beginning of the show, I'm a divorced single dad. So yes, there's been times in my life when I felt like I failed because I wanted to keep my family together, like most parents. I wanted to give my children a stable household. But sometimes life doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. Now, I know as new parents, you might have some expectations. Some high expectations. But believe me, you don't want to set your standards so high you cannot reach them. Make your expectations reasonable. Make them within reach, something you can attain. You know, we all want our kids to be like us, like a mirror image. But we have to remember our kids, our babies, the little life that we watch, we protect, we love, they have to walk in their own footsteps. They have to find their own path in life. And like I said, hopefully if you instilled in them everything they need, all the tools they need in life to survive, to live, to grow, they'll be okay. And you should never be disappointed and feel like a failure if your kid doesn't live up to your expectations. My father loved baseball. Loved it, sports, everything. I guess it didn't click with me because I've never really been into sports. And I know that disappointed my dad. It hurt him. Later on in life, we talked when he was really sick. We became a lot closer. But it was tough in the beginning because my dad had expectations. And I can look back and say he was a new father just like me. And I'm sure what he wanted was a lot different than what I wanted for my kids. But you know what? In my life, I've realized that my kids must walk their own path, and I must respect it. They have their lives to live. I had my life to live. They know what they like. I know what I like. I may like root beer floats, but my kids may not. They might say, I just don't like that, Dad. I might like chili dogs. They say, I don't like chili dogs. Don't. You know, your expectations. Now, I know these are sort of silly examples, but there's some truth to it. Kids have to be on their own. They have to walk their own path. And we shouldn't feel like we failed as parents if they choose to take a different path in life. You try to teach your child all the dangers of the world. Like you tell your child, don't touch the hot stove. Whatever you do, don't touch the hot stove because you're going to get burned. I remember my son, I tell him all the time, don't touch the hot stove. He just wouldn't listen. He touched it. His hand was burned. Not bad. I mean, he touched it really fast. Got a blister. But sometimes in life, you have to realize your child will really get burned. They will have that scar forever. But as long as you teach your child, and hopefully they listen, things will be okay. That's another thing. Kids must listen to what you also say. That's another big thing. But you all should always remember, as a parent, you're doing your best. You did your best. You will do your best. Failing as a parent, you guys never. You're doing your best. You know, kids grow up and they go to school. And they do great at school. Sometimes they may not do as good. And sometimes your child may even get in trouble. But you have to be there for them. Kids are going to need your support. You have to be there for them. You have to support them. Tell them you love them. Tell them you'll be there. Tell them you understand. Now, I'm not saying if they do something horrible, that's a different story. You have to address that a lot differently. But sometimes kids do go to school and they do make mistakes. Little mistakes. And these mistakes can be fixed. These are the fixable ones. That doesn't mean you failed as a parent. Life is a learning experience. You learn in life. You hope in life you can learn so much. Life is like school. Every day you're going to class, you're taking the courses of life. Meeting new people, learning how to interact, learning how to live. And when you come home to your child, it's another lesson to be learned. Another day in school with your child to learn a lesson of parenting. It's unfortunate we have drugs in the world, but it's a reality. Hopefully, your kids won't get involved in drugs, but if they do, you have to help them. You have to, because we love our kids and we want them to do their best. We want them to stay on the straight and narrow path. We want what's best for our child. Don't beat yourself up. If your child goes off on the wrong track, sometimes it happens. It's life. Life isn't perfect. But try to do your best. Kids make their choices as they grow. Let's face it, when you go to the candy store, you usually pick what you like. Your child, a kid will do the same. They'll pick what they like. But it's their life. They have to choose. And listen, as long as you do your best and you did your best, you should never feel like a failure. You should feel like you succeeded. Let me tell you something. There will be times in your life when you feel like you have failed. This is normal. You should not be ashamed of it. As a parent, we all have had these feelings from one time or another. But this is something that should not overshadow your responsibility as a parent. You need to realize that you are doing your best. You need to accept that in life. There are challenges, and yes, we must try to overcome them. And if by some chance we don't, never think you are a failure. You are a great parent trying to do the best you can for your child. Now listen, life isn't always as simple as we think it is. It's difficult, it's complicated, and it is full of hurdles. But you have to remember that you are a champion for that child. You are a parent who are going to be a positive influence in your child's life. You have to talk to them. Let them know how you feel. Believe me, children listen. They listen to everything you say and do. They won't think that you're weak. They won't think any less of you, but you know what they will think? They'll think that you're human, just like everyone else. Before I end this, as you know, I'm a children's book author. I wrote the Somebody book. And I'd like to read this to you. This is the Somebody book. There are many types of somebodies that no one ever sees, who paint the colors of rainbows for all of the world to see. There is someone who turns the sun on in the day so we can play. At night, somebody turns it off for yet another day. Somebody makes the clouds that drift across the sky. They sit on top of a mountain far beyond the eye. Somebody puts the dreams inside of our heads at night. Sometimes the dreams are happy, sometimes they scare with fright. When we are scared with fright, somebody is always there to show how much they care. Your somebody could be a big stuffed teddy bear. Who makes all the sand on all the sandy beaches there? Somebody, that's who takes their time with care. There's someone who snores the wind on a very windy day, so you better hold on tight, or else you may get blown away. However, sometimes, only sometimes, somebody may not be around. You will look for somebody because you're lonely, but the somebody can't be found. But there is somebody waiting to meet you and play, for somebody can be a friend you can play with every day. Did you know that there's somebody who puts your shadow on the ground? You never hear them coming, for they don't make a sound. And who is that somebody in the mirror you try to jump to the other side? Sometimes you play games with that somebody. Sometimes you try to hide. Does this somebody have a name? Of course they do. It could be Kelly, Beth, Matt, or Jeff. It could even be you. So remember, if you see something that somebody does, remember that it was made by somebody with lots of time and love. That somebody found their special knack in life that they can do. One day, you will do the same because you are somebody too. I want to thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new podcast is posted. Rate and review this podcast and share it with your family and friends. I hope that you're leaving with some great things that make you think. Remember this one last bit of advice. Tomorrow is never promised, so don't go to bed angry at your child or anyone you love. And before you go to bed tonight, hug your child and tell them, I will love you forever, Dad. See you next time here on Forever Dad.